Hey, good morning, y'all. It's Monday morning, and I just wanted to get on here and share something. One of my absolute favorite verses in the Bible we actually celebrate this week, and that is this Holy Week. We celebrate all that Christ has done for us, all that his life represents. And my favorite verse, one of my favorite verses, is John 19:30. And basically, Christ has been hanging on the cross. And just after being arrested, after celebrating Passover dinner with his disciples, then being arrested, then being beaten, being tried, he's then hung on a cross to die. And in John 19:30, it says, when all this is taking place, he says this powerful phrase. He says, "It is finished." With his last breath, that is the final words of Jesus Christ. It is finished. And the reason I love this so much is it represents so much. The reality is, from the first breath that Jesus took until that final breath, he had a purpose. He had a mission. And it wasn't just to change history, it was to save humanity. It was to reconcile God's creation, God's beautiful, favorite creation of human beings, to him. The book of Hebrews tells us that Jesus is the intercessor to God for us. He goes on our behalf. He speaks on our behalf. He died on our behalf. This is the most powerful week in the history of earth. And I want you to think about that. I challenge my church, and I challenge us all to really think about what this week means to us, and really what Jesus did for us. Gospel of John tells us that the night he spent with his disciples before he was arrested, Jesus spent it washing their feet. And he says to Peter, unless you let me do this, you have no part with me. And he's basically letting Peter know, I came to serve the world. And a lot of people think it's just through the miracles that he did, but it was really through the sacrifice and the service of giving up his life. I want you to remember this Holy Week, this history-changing, eternity-changing, kingdom-filling week. That no greater love has this than a man who will lay down his life for his brother. Christ came to serve, and that was his purpose. That was his mission. So as he hung on that cross, right as it was finished, he said, "It is finished." And he gave up, the Bible tells us that he gave up his spirit. The work that he came to do, the service that he came to be to mankind was done. That's what we celebrate this week. So I hope as you go with your family, your friends, and go to worship services, that you will remember that Christ came with a purpose, and on the cross he fulfilled it. And when he was done, he said, "It is finished." And he took the weight of the world, the weight of sin for every human being, and history was changed. Think about that this week. Pray on that. Let God really speak to your heart. Have a great week, y'all. I love y'all, and happy Easter.